another journey at another time, I think it was the year after I went to Gangotri, the source of the Ganges. I had an opportunity to go with a friend from Sri Lanka to one of the more remote parts of the Himalayas above the tree line, where it is arid and barren and the landscapes are vast and empty. And this is a place called Lahaul Spiti. So there are actually two valleys. One valley, the valley of Lahaul, which is actually called the potato valley because that's the main crop they grow there. If you continue through that valley and you go quite a long distance on what some people have told me is the highest passable road in the world, you end up in Ladakh, which is another Buddhist area further up. And the other valley which branches off it is called Spiti, which is a particularly empty area. There are villages and some monasteries there, but it's generally a vast empty valley, very, very barren, far above the tree line where very little vegetation grows. And anyway, to get to this place, first of all, you have to go through the lower Himalayas where you, in the state which is, I think it's called, they've just recently changed the name, but it used to be called Himachal Pradesh, the land of the Himalayan land. It's one of the states in India. And this is, traditionally in Buddhism, they believe that there was a place called the Kuru, Uttara Kuru. And they believed that this was a sort of a magical wonderland where crops grew by themselves, and the people who lived there were elves and pixies and devas and what have you, and they didn't have to work because the crops harvested themselves. It was a sort of a mythical paradise. And I believe that the valley, which is now called Kuru, was, at least at one point, was believed to be something like that sort of wonderland. And it's quite easy to understand why people would have believed, people living in the flat part of India, the dry, barren, hot area, would believe that somewhere to their north was some sort of natural paradise. And indeed, when you go through the Kulu Valley, you would actually believe that. In fact, before I was a monk, I went to this very place, and I remember very distinctly coming into the valley, and all the apple trees were in blossom. And so that from a distance, it looked like the whole valley had been dusted in a light shower of snow. It was really beautiful, and small traditional villages here and there, and some fields of hill rice, but primarily orchards of apples and apricots and cherries, a real natural wonderland. And if you branch off one side of the valley, there's another smaller valley called the Parvati Valley, which is equally beautiful. And apart from the areas that are cultivated, there is vast areas of forest. And one of the most beautiful trees in these forests is called deodar trees, which is a type of sort of Himalayan cypress, a particularly attractive tree. And as you walk through these forests, you find often some of them are very, very ancient, and the vegetation is lush, and there are some parts there where marijuana bushes grow up to 10, 15 feet high. I believe in the 70s and that it was quite a lot of hippies ended up going there because the marijuana, you didn't have to buy it, you could just pick it from the side of the road. Anyway, if you want to get to Spiti, you've got to go further up the valley to a small town called Manali, which, at least when I went there too, the first time, it was very, very few tourists went there, but last time I went there, it was really many Indians now have the opportunity to travel, and they want to see their country, and who wouldn't want to see the Himalayas? So all these wealthy people from Bombay get up there, and it's pretty crowded. Nonetheless, the prettiness of the valley and the charm of the town has survived to some degree. But to get to Spiti, you have to go higher than that. You have to go over the Rotang Pass. And once again, before I was a monk, I actually did that. And the Rotang Pass is about 13,058 feet high. That's 3,980 meters high. It's a very high pass. And when I first went over there, the bus from Manali only could go about a third of the way up because it was the end of the winter and the road was still blocked by snow. And I had to walk from that part over the snow to the very top of the pass. Last time I went there, the snow had all melted and it was possible to take a vehicle right up to the top. And when you get to the top of the pass, you have this wonderful view back over the Kulu and the Manali Valley, and it's all just emerald green. And when you look on this side to Lahaul and Spiti, it is treeless. It's all barren and dry because it's simply too high for vegetation, for most vegetation. Anyway, I spent a day in the Lahaul Valley. I visited a monastery where I had stayed years ago, and then I came back and then I went up the Spiti Valley for the first time.